Hello, and welcome this fine Thursday to another weekly Rocksmith dev stream. I'm Doug Lilly. I'm the ComDev, the community developer for Rocksmith. And every week we take a look at the most recent DLC, we play through it, and we talk about it. That's what we do. It's pretty simple, but people seem to like it, so we're going to keep doing it. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we got this week, which is 3 songs from Five Finger Death Punch. So check out that, and we'll come back and we'll play some songs, give out some prizes, and chat. It'll be great. See you in a minute.
Bad company, I can't deny. Bad company, till the day I die. Until the day I die. Until the day I die. Until the day I die. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, blood for blood. We've all gotta die. We've all gotta die. I remember when all the games began. Remember every little life and every last goodbye. The promises you broke, words you choked on, and I never walked away. It's still a mystery to me. Well, I'm so empty. I'm better off without you, and you're better off without me. Well, you're so unclean. I'm better off without you, and you're better off without me. The bleeding, the screaming was tearing me apart. Hatred, deceiving, the pain. I saw the devil today, and he looked a lot like me. I looked away, I turned away. Arms wide open, I stand alone. I'm no hero, and I'm not made of stone. Right or wrong, I can hardly tell. I'm on the wrong side of heaven and the righteous side of hell. The wrong side of heaven and the righteous side of hell.
There you have it, the 3 songs from this week's Five Finger Death Punch DLC. We're going to play some now, but make sure you stick around, listen, because later we're going to have a couple of giveaways from Ernie Ball. Those are always a lot of fun. Right now, we're going to take a look at a couple of guests. Well, hello.
Hi.
We got
Hi.
Brian McCune, Anthony Martinez.
How's it going, Doug?
Going great. How are you two doing?
Doing well.
I'm doing well also.
I would prefer Anthony answer for you.
Okay.
So he's doing well also.
Are you saying that just because he said it?
He said that? I just assumed.
Okay, good.
Good.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Finger Death Punch. Very, very aggressive. Very aggressive band name. I don't know if I have the intensity to properly motivate this. What's going on?
I feel motivated to play Bad Company.
Bad Company. Cover of a song from a band called, I believe, Bad Co.
Bad Company.
Bad
also.
Company. Also.
They're also called Bad Company. It's the name of the song. And it's the name of the band.
And the name of the album.
And the name of the album.
Yeah.
And the name
Yeah,
of the year it was
the title
released.
track from the self-titled.
Released in Bad Company.
I don't know
Yeah.
when did that come out? When did the original?
Oh, you're asking me all the wrong questions.
What's the right question? Hey, who note tracked this?
Sam Schwartz did.
Sam Schwartz did. But you're here.
I'm here to
for us.
play it, and
Yeah.
there were not a lot of takers. I don't know. I said, oh yeah, maybe I'll play it because I don't play a lot in B standard, so I was feeling a little bit outside of my comfort zone. And I was like, I hope it's not too shreddy, but I practiced it some yesterday and some today. It definitely is not what I would consider sight readable completely with the rhythmic stuff and the solos.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I prepped a little bit for it. If I break 80%, I'll be happy.
Nice. Yeah, there's a really cool guitar solo in this song. And the bass work is also a lot of fun. There's some
it's
fast-moving riffs.
I was pretty surprised by the bass part in this one.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Okay. Well, let's see how fun.
Yeah, let's
It
see how
is.
my SG does in B standard with
Sure.
10s, at least not 9s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be fine. It's fine. 80%, you got it.
A company always on the run, a destiny. Oh, it's the rising sun. I was born a shotgun in my hands. Behind the gun, I'll make my final stand. Yeah, and that's why they call me Bad Company. I can't deny. Bad Company till the day I die. Until the day I die. Until the day I
Can you turn me up
die.
in my headphones a little bit? Thank you. I've been such a diva today.
Rebel souls, deserters we've been called. Chose a gun and threw away the sun. Now these towns, well, they all know our name. The death punch sound is our claim to fame. And that's why they call me Bad Company. I can't deny. Bad Company till the day I die. Until the day I die. Until the day I die. Until the day I die. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, blood for blood. We've all gotta die. We've all gotta die.
Well, something's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's why they call me Bad Company. I won't deny. Bad Company till the day I die. Bad Company. I won't deny. Bad Company till the day
Great job.
So much
Yeah.
fun, so much
Yeah.
energy. Yeah, the bass arrangement is a blast to play. Nice work.
Well,
Thank
well
you.
above 80%.
Jeez.
Now I feel like you were just being intentionally humble.
That doesn't sound like me. Yeah, no,
so
the
those
solo,
expectations-
the solo is
Yeah.
beyond my ability, but I could play the solo at like up to like 83% speed,
Yeah.
and then that's where it started to lose it. So I was doing my best. I'm no
Sounded
Sam
good, though.
Schwartz. I'm no Brian Shu, and I'm definitely no Anthony Martinez.
So,
Mr. Precision over here.
so this song, the guitar arrangement is in B standard.
It is.
So typically, when you're playing a lot of down-tuned stuff, what are some things that you can do to sort of help? Because it can depending on if you're not set up for it, it can drastically alter the way those notes are played.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, we were talking about what are my string gauges. Hopefully, everyone kind of knows some of the differences. It's all based on the width of the high E string or whatever your highest string is. I think I have 10s on this instrument, which is slightly thicker than, let's say, 9s or 8s, which are super slinky and bendy. I guess. Yeah. But yeah, they go up to what, 13s?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean,
probably.
So if
yeah,
you're
yeah.
going to commit to playing,
least.
keeping a guitar in a low tuning, go up to 11s, 12s, or dare I say even 13s. Yeah, that's one thing that can help. But if you're not going to be changing your setup, use your ears, listen to the sounds you're making, and making sure that you're playing in tune. And if you're in a B standard, which is a full, perfect fourth lower than where your instrument is probably playing normally, that means the strings are going to be pretty loose on the instrument, which means that they're going to have a lot more give. And with that being said, if you press down hard when you're playing, it's going to be very easy to bend the pitch sharp and therefore out of tune, and therefore give you trouble with passing detection.
Yeah.
So keep your fretting hand playing light. We were just talking about this yesterday.
Yeah, because the heavier, sort of the heavier the music, the more kind of delicate and precise you need to be.
Yeah.
The more gentler you need to be with both your fretting and your
your strumming hand or
Yeah.
your attacking
Yeah.
hand. Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. Having like a lighter touch with your picking hand also helps. So especially like if you're playing in, say, I don't know, drop A tuning,
Yeah.
and you're playing a lot of open string, sort of like double stops. Definitely have a lighter touch, and maybe switch to a different kind of pick too, or adjust the way you're picking by moving it diagonally, so the strings don't become spaghetti
Yeah,
strings.
because if your fretting hand is too heavy, you can accidentally change a pitch by a good at least quarter tone.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can we get volume?
Yeah, get some volume going on this.
And make sure if you've got some questions, let us know in the chat. Jurassic is keeping an eye out for those.
So this is a D. I can almost bend it up a whole step in B standard.
That is dramatic. Yeah.
Which is a lot, just by pressing too hard. So all you have to do is tap the string down far enough to make contact with that fret wire.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Otherwise-
just-
versus same thing goes for plucking. If you pluck too
Right.
hard, it's all. Yeah.
So yeah, if you're trying the song and you're having a lot of problems with detection, you feel like you're playing the right notes, you might be hitting the right frets at the right time, but just back off a little bit.
Yeah.
Be a little gentler.
Play without tension. I mean,
Yeah.
when you see an expert like Anthony playing, or
Thanks,
Brian
Brian.
Shu, or literally any of the people on the note tracking team besides me, look at their fretting hand, and they're not holding any tension in that hand. They're just placing it down on the frets, and that's a good way to prevent yourself from injuring yourself while playing too. And
That's for sure.
And if you play without tension, your sound will be better. So do
All
that.
Yeah, that's good advice, though.
So find your center, play without tension,
Take one deep breath, and then play a 5-finger death punch.
and then exhale.
Exhale once you're done playing the song.
After the song.
Yeah. So play the shortest one. Start off with.
Then you'll be playing with a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
for 3
There
minutes.
comes that tension right back. No, breathe while you play. Breathe what? Do you have any? Yeah. So breathing while you play is important.
Absolutely.
Because I can, if I'm really into a thing, especially if I'm sight reading, I can forget to breathe for a while, and I'll realize, oh, I haven't exhaled in a bit.
And even during
So-
a performance, like
Yeah.
before I perform, like either on the stream or on stage somewhere else, I'll take a couple of deep breaths just to relax and
Yeah.
ease into the song.
Yeah.
It helps.
Yeah, a song that starts this way was, I sensed myself starting to panic even because I knew what was coming in the solo, but that intro is very slow and deliberate, so I was taking that opportunity to like kind of keep myself calmed down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is a simple line, just keep,
And,
getting into the holistic side of music making, but I think it's an important part of it.
Yeah.
Same here.
And I do have a question from the chat. This is from Gene308. Having difficulty bending with a set of 9s, is it a good idea to switch to a set of 8s? Or are there other factors that might play into that besides string tension?
Oh man, I don't think it necessarily means you'd have to switch gauges, but I have a lot of questions. Like how are you executing bends? Which strings are you trying to bend, and which position are you in? Those are all difference makers. But if I'm playing, I'll just consider Rocksmith notation, an orange 9, and I'm trying to bend that up a whole step. It's going to be tough on bass, but I can show you how I'd achieve that. I would use my index and middle fingers for support. So using other fingers to help the finger that will bend the pitch, I think it's more economical and more efficient. So I would recommend using other fingers to help support those bends that you're trying to achieve.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then maybe practice that a bit, and then come back in a week or 4.
Absolutely.
And let us know.
Yeah, and again, depending on where you are on the fretboard and which strings you're trying to bend, you're going to come up with a whole other, like a unique series of challenges.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah.
Well, thank you both very much. And
course, thank you.
Speaking of strings, we are going to do we're going to do our first Ernie Ball prize pack giveaway for this stream. Listen to what UB Jurassic in the chat says right now for your chance to win this Ernie Ball prize pack. This pack includes 2 sets of strings, one 6-string set for guitar and a 4-string set for bass. It's going to have an assortment of 12 medium-sized Ernie Ball picks, along with 3 of the Rocksmith Pink Skullboy picks. Going to have 1 black strap for you and a package of Ernie Ball Wonder Wipes. That's going to have an assortment of wipes to keep your neck, your fretboard, your strings, and your guitar's body nice and clean and fresh, and not polished. Maybe polished. A little bit of polish. It's like a polish. Polish, like a buff. Yeah. It's going to have an Ernie Ball peg winder that you can use to affix those strings to your guitar quickly and efficiently. It's good. So make sure you listen to what UB Jurassic says in the chat. He's going to ask for your name, your address, and your phone number. We need all of that information from you in order to get you the prize. Without it, we cannot send you the prize. We do ship internationally, so if you're not in the U.S., we can still get you the prize pack. It shouldn't be a problem. And if you win, if you want to give some thanks to Ernie Ball for that, make sure to mention them at Ernie Ball on Twitter or Instagram or whatever your chosen celebratory social media outlet is. And if you want to, give the hashtag #IPlaySlinky once you've used those strings and get to know how nice they are. Right now, again, we are looking at 3 songs from Five Finger Death Punch, metal band from Las Vegas, Nevada. Coming up, we're going to look at some more songs, plus a bonus song not from Five Finger Death Punch, and we're going to have a new face with that song. So make sure you're, hopefully somebody has, I don't think we've given out the prize yet, but that should be going on right now. UB Jurassic, a.k.a. Brian, is in the chat. He's doing this raffle, and he's also taking your questions. So if you have questions for the Note Trackers or the other crew or myself, make sure you let him know. You can tag UB Jurassic in the chat so that he sees the question and can add it and send that my way. Right now, we're going to take a look at another Five Finger Death Punch song. This is The Bleeding. And to bleed with us, Greg Studley.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finger death punch. That was a
5.
beauty.
Thank you.
That was a
Thank you.
beauty. I kind
didn't
of lost it
practice
watching
that.
that one. That was good. That was good. That was good.
And David Stevens from behind the wheels of steel
Yeah, absolutely.
back in front of the camera.
I get around.
Welcome. How are you two doing?
He's great.
Good. Yeah.
So you're going to answer for him this time? We're just doing a little
Yeah.
swap.
How am I?
How am I?
How are I? Things
Find
are
your
good,
center.
you know.
Breathe.
Oh yeah,
Don't
I
forget to
forgot to
breathe.
breathe. That's the
Oh,
problem.
yeah.
Yeah. So let's try this.
It's
So,
overrated.
metal band from Las Vegas, Five Finger Death Punch. Were you familiar? You note tracked this song, right?
I did.
You did?
Yes.
Okay. Were you familiar with them before you note tracked them?
Not very familiar.
Okay.
I heard some stuff, but I definitely never figured it out. Anything of theirs to this detail.
This
No.
is this group has been in our top 40 requests at least for a year or two. I should have asked when Brian McCune was here.
Quite a while,
They've-
actually.
have they been
Yeah, yeah.
on since? Have they been one of the top 40 requests? Is Brian McCune still around? No, he's left
No,
He's gone.
I would say probably at least going back to 2014.
because they've been around
Oh, well,
for a
yeah.
for
Yeah.
a bit now. When did they?
Yeah.
When did their first album come out?
God, it was like 2010, I think.
20. That sounds right. Sounds right. So yeah, another top 40 requested band.
Yeah,
Checked.
they've got. I think there's
Yeah.
6 albums they're up to.
That sounds
Something like that.
six or seven sounds right. I
Something.
think 6 is yeah. Yeah, and if we got 3 songs on this pack, and if you want more songs, let us know at our official request page, which should be linked in the chat right about now, probably by a couple of people. Let's see if Toy Machine SH beats out UB Jurassic in linking that. He's really good. Bleeding. I think I had a question for this one.
Oh, yeah.
So you are doing the lead arrangement
Correct.
on the Bleeding. There's an alt lead.
I don't remember.
Was there an
Yes,
alt lead
there
in this
is.
one? There is.
There is an
Yeah.
alt lead.
Is it in the same tuning? Is it in E standard or is it in?
It's also in B.
It is in B.
Yeah, there's one. Yeah, there's definitely a
So
beat that we did, but I wanted to write an arrangement for E standard as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that's this arrangement that you're playing is just meant for a player in E standard, so they don't have to tune down.
No, the from watching the videos, this is I don't remember if he was doing this either on a 7-string or because the positions for the beginning of the song
Yeah.
are certainly based where they should be. In fact, interestingly, from watching the videos, I could hear the difference between the way he tracked it and the way that he plays it live, and there's
Yeah.
a definite difference, which
Yeah.
we can either talk about before or after, for the way he's voicing things, which was just pretty interesting to kind of to just notice that people will record something one way, and then after being on the road for a while and playing these songs live,
Yeah.
they'll still adapt themselves to a different way of playing the same notes, just adapting it to different strings. Even though they're the ones who recorded it,
Right.
You know, they're
they find
they're
a- they find
evolving
a-
with their own song.
They find a more preferred way.
Yeah.
Now, so what should we be? We'll talk about it afterwards. But what should we be looking for here? That
Right at the beginning,
right at the beginning.
right
Okay.
at the start.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty evident that there's 3 guitars going on. And
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's start at the beginning with the Bleeding here with Greg Studley and David Stevens.
That's not in the song.
that's a cool riff.
Thank you.
You're playing it well.
Love that ending.
It's over now.
It is over now.
It is over now, but we can talk about it. We can keep talking about it.
Even though it's over now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the best time to talk about it. You mentioned playing differently.
I
So
did.
guitar player.
I
yeah.
did. Can I get some volume here? So the deal is, he starts off the song here. And you can hear this little slide that he does. If you listen real carefully, you can hear him slide out of it. But every live performance I found, he's here.
So there's no possibility for that slide to exist.
You're not going to kind of slide off at this note to
Right.
then end up at the same fret.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you might
You
if
could
you just
go-
want to mess with people. I think he
You
did it
could,
just to
yeah.
mess with us.
Yeah.
Now I'm
Could be,
understanding.
could be.
No, but it's a definite thing that you can hear over and over where he's sliding that last note down. Every live show I found, just to kind of see what he was doing, his
Yeah.
hand was always placed there.
Okay.
So you evolve with the music as you play
yeah.
it.
And if you were to play that way, it would detect normally, except for the slide.
Yeah, everything would detect. It's the same exact notes.
Okay.
But yes, it would detect fine. The slide wouldn't be there, so you'd be missing a little bit of something that he's doing in the recording.
Yeah.
But if you watch live performance, it sounds like he's doing the same
Okay.
song. So it definitely works.
And speaking of which, we had a question from Death Johnson. This I think goes along well with what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
When you do the note tracking, this is, by the way, Greg Sedley, note tracker.
Howdy.
So all the charts that you see in Rocksmith,
I did them all.
are transcribed by our note tracking team.
Oh.
One of whom is Greg Sedley here.
Way to bring me down.
So yep.
Putting
just
the
lift
eye
you
in
up.
team.
Yeah.
So the question basically was, when you transcribe the music, what's the general process as far as like how do you
How do you do it?
decide? How do you decide what they're playing?
How
Is
does
it
the magic
listening?
happen?
You talked about watching the videos.
Sure. So the main thing you have to use is your ears. You can watch videos all you want, but especially in like orchestrated music videos, not everything's there. I mean, there are parts that are just missing. You're not going to get all the angles that you need on the guitar player or the bass player or whatever. You can watch live performance, and that helps, especially for understanding where someone's hand might be. But the thing that's going to tell you more than anything else what's going on is your ears. One of the tricks you can do is a lot of times, especially in modern recordings, people will pan instruments. And so what you can do is if you're listening with headphones, and by the way, headphones is the optimal way to transcribe. Much better than actual monitor speakers or anything. Never transcribe through a phone, ever. Phone speakers.
Speaking from experience.
No good. But what you could try if you're trying to isolate where the guitar is in the mix is just take one of the headphones out. Take one ear out and see if you can hear the guitar part that you're trying to find. And if you're not finding it very well, then take the other ear out. Normally, you're going to find a pan a little bit one way or the other. Sometimes people do really hard panning, which is actually really good.
Yeah.
If it's just like, 80% on the left, you can really hear that guitar part.
Yeah.
But sometimes they got it like, it's nudged a little bit left, 20, 30%, which helps. But, even little tactics like that
Yeah.
make everything easier to hear.
So once you find sort of in the panning where the track sits, sort of in that we'll say semicircle, so where it sits from center.
Yes.
Are you able to sort of turn up that side or further? Tweak
Well,
the
I mean,
panning?
you can always,
just take one earphone off.
take one,
Yeah.
take one out and put it halfway on your ear so you're not listening to it as much. Or if you have some tools in any of the programs you're working in that you can do that and isolate one side, that's always really helpful. But I mean, the other thing is, so that's kind of like how you recognize where the part is.
Yeah.
Like where does it exist in the mix? But that only gets you so far. The other thing you can do, and I try to have told this to my students over the years, is if you're trying to figure out a song and you go, okay, like the first chord's in A, and you're trying to figure out where the notes are then, like where are the notes that the guitar is playing, or what, single notes or chords or anything based around that, you can ditch half the notes on the fretboard if you just think about it in A. So the thing to do is take the theory into account and go, okay, look, if there's an A here, if that's, the first note I'm hearing, the chance of that being an available note is super slim. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but the chance of you playing a B flat anywhere in the song is very, very low.
Okay.
So use any amount of theory that you already understand to guide you into what are logical choices for where notes might exist. And it just eliminates so much guesswork.
Yeah. That's good advice.
That's all I've got.
That's good.
It's probably too much. I just kept going.
And David Stevens, QA Czar.
Yes.
Any
Quasar.
thoughts?
I like that.
Yeah.
Quasar.
Quasar.
Oh.
Oh, he's got a
We
new
just
one.
got- yeah, we just got
This
Cosmic.
is my
with
villain
this.
origin.
Yeah, did you have any input on
The base is pretty straightforward. There's a few accented notes. You may have noticed I played the chords because they sound fun. Yeah, it's nice and straightforward. It's very approachable.
Okay.
I do recommend, if you do get into the guitar, play all 3 arrangements. They have a lot of unique bits each unto themselves, and they're worth exploring.
Yeah. There was a question. I believe you pretty much answered it before you played the song. But they asked about the Toy Machine SH. Actually, Elliot asked about the E arrangement, and so that is not the E arrangement is just for players who want to play without having to retune.
That's correct. Yeah, that way you
So
can.
that's not.
That way you can play it without having to either have a 7-string available to get that lower note, or to have to retune your instrument.
Yeah.
Because it's almost everybody's going to have their instrument in E standard, so there's an E standard version that you can just jump right into, play the song, and you're good to go.
All right.
The real trick is to just get another instrument.
He has a good point.
And we have a question from Tuffy McTavish for David Stevens, the QA Quasar Czar. Just asking if you've
God.
ever done any note tracking.
I have not.
You've not?
I'm at the end of the process. So,
Okay.
but I do have a lot of input during the process. I'll review charts as they're being worked on, and
So you work
bring
closely with the note tracker.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So you're part of the note tracking process, but you don't track notes.
Correct.
Okay.
He tracks our notes
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
that we are
true.
tracking,
Yeah.
and then he comes to us with notes
On those tracks.
that we need to keep track of.
Yeah.
Mr.
This is
Quasar.
getting out of hand.
Speaking of hands, we're going to give away 5 copies of this 5-finger death punch because it's a hand.
I see what you did there.
Thank you. Going to give away 5 copies of this DLC on Steam. While that's happening, we're going to watch a video featuring our own Brian Shu. But make sure during that video you watch the chat and listen to the instructions from Brian, a.k.a. UB Jurassic. A lot of Brian's going on. No Brian's right here, right now.
That you know of.
Watch this video. Win some DLC. We'll be right back. This is the Rocksmith Weekly Dev Stream. I'm Doug Lilly, community developer. We'll be right back.
Oh, the pressure of an audience.
And welcome back to the weekly Rocksmith dev stream. This week we are looking at the Five Finger Death Punch song pack. My name is Doug Lilly. I'm the community developer for Rocksmith. And today, well, actually, if you missed it earlier this week, you may have heard about it. Hopefully, you were here with us on Monday. We had our annual holiday stream, which featured a bunch of our note trackers and other special guests, including the Road Vikings, coming on and playing songs from the past year that they felt some attachment to and loved. And we had loads of giveaways, a lot of fun. It was about 2.5 hours worth of streaming, and it was good. It was a good time. So if you haven't seen it, go back, check video on demand, either on Twitch or here on Twitch or on YouTube. Right now, we're going to look at a song that is not from Five Finger Death Punch. This is, we're going to look at The End of Heartache from Killswitch Engage. And with me, hello. Hi. Is your mic on? Oh, there you are. There you are.
Now it is.
Now it is. How's it going? Brian Shu,
Yes.
note tracker extraordinaire. How you doing?
Not that extraordinary.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm tired, but
Brian Shu, note tracker, fine.
oh,
Is that better?
yeah,
Okay, better than fine.
that's great.
It's great. It's fine.
Yeah, that's kind of an in between, I guess.
Sure. With us, we have a new face to the Rocksmith stream. This is Kaiwan.
Hi.
You are a UX designer.
Yes.
Could you pull in your mic just a touch?
How is that?
That's much better.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the stream.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Kaiwan, you are playing bass on this Killswitch song. So you have been recently learning bass, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are a musician. You played piano,
Yes. Uh-huh.
but you were new to bass guitar,
Yes.
new
uh-huh.
to stringed instruments.
Yes.
Well, I guess
definitely
piano
new.
technically has strings, but
Just
we don't call it.
inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, how long have you been playing bass?
Just a couple of weeks now.
Couple of weeks.
So, pretty
you're
fresh.
jumping on this. I heard some scuttlebutt around the office from Brian McCune, that you were a big Killswitch fan.
Yes, I love Killswitch. I saw them a couple years ago live. I think now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, and you're Killswitch fan.
Yeah,
You-
they're definitely one of the bands I really loved listening to in high school. I was like really into kind of the aesthetic, and they were
Yeah.
just, as a band, I loved their personality because they're all like super goofy people. Like,
Yeah.
I think Adams, the really tall dude with the mohawk, and he like runs around on stage with like, he wears his underwear on top of his pants, and then he has a cape, and it's just ridiculous. He just runs all over stage, and it's awesome.
I'm getting flashbacks to Quailman. That was-
It's
young
yeah, it's basically Quail.
Oh no, that hurts. That hurts me. But yeah, so I was. You were recommended to us to join us here on the stream to play this song. So you're new. You're playing at 50%.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're gonna have fun. You're playing the Chris Novoselic, which is what I usually play here on the stream, and it's a beast. But we've tamed it. You've tamed it, and it's gonna be pretty rad. But let's talk about. We kind of skipped. We skipped over that video that we just saw.
Oh,
What was-
yeah.
so what was that all about? That was you.
Yeah,
And
that
who
was
were you? Who
so
were you?
that was like
guitar death matching with.
that's the that's Paul Gilbert of Mr. Big and Racer X fame, one of the greatest shredders ever.
Yeah.
And I've always been a huge fanboy of his, like in high school and stuff. So it was really quite an honor to jam with him. And that was like years ago. So
I think it said
I'm
2011.
definitely way better at guitar now.
So is this a rematch? Is this a call out?
Man, I'd be down. But anyways, like, yeah, you can scroll down those YouTube comments and people are pretty mean in it. But basically that happened, I think 2011. And the way I got that particular jam session was Paul Gilbert. He's actually a graduate of GIT, Musicians Institute. That's where I went to school. I got an associate's there. It's like a 2-year program or something like
Yeah.
that. And so he said he's one of the most famous guitar players to ever come out of that school. And basically, he would come over every maybe 3 quarters or so, and then there would be a drawing where there would be basically 500 guitar players in the auditorium hoping to get a lesson with him.
Yeah.
And by that point, I was already kind of well known around the school. I think I had almost graduated, or I had graduated with honors or something like that. And like basically the whole thing was with a raffle. So I got my name got pulled out of the hat because I was like, oh, that'd be awesome if I could play with one of my favorite guitar players
Yeah.
of all time. He's one of the biggest reasons I went to that school. And so my name got pulled out of the hat, and when they read my name, everybody in the auditorium started booing me. And then someone just shouted like, "He doesn't need it." And I was like, of course I do. Like I need like well, I didn't feel that good. And plus it's I mean, comparatively to one of the greatest shredders of all time, I mean, I learned a lot just playing with him
Through that experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's a great teacher as well as being just one of the most shreddingest dudes. The one thing about that video is like to notice is his sense of time is so metronomic and perfect. My time is awful in that video. I've worked on it a lot, but yeah, man, he's just so refined. You can tell I'm kind of raw at that age. I think I was like 22,
22 when that
21.
happened.
21, 22.
That was one of the
something like
questions we got.
Yeah.
Great.
So, it's a long time ago.
Thank you very much for sharing that.
Mhm.
And now let's do some Kill Switch Engage, The End of Heartache.
Oh, by the way, this band has some of the best pinch harmonics ever.
Oh, okay.
I'll try to do it justice. Since this has a lot of open strings, you're supposed to do this.
This distance, this disillusion, I cling to memories while falling.
Such a fun song.
Yeah,
It
it
goes
is.
through like all these. I like the different.
Yeah, I forgot
changes.
there was like that other part, and this was like a last minute change to rhythm guitar. So
Oh right, right, yeah. So that was the rhythm part.
yeah, that was the rhythm part.
Yeah. Do you remember? Have you? So you played the lead recently?
Mm-hmm. I just like to chug. Like, cause
You
I
wanted to
I
be able to
like
do the
the
one-handed
yeah.
throwing
Actually, I
horns.
think when he plays live, he like switches hands. So like he does the like. Then he does the
okay,
other hand.
okay.
I'm not nearly that coordinated, but
Well,
it's super cool.
Hey, just some practice and you can get it.
Yeah. Yeah, forget
weird.
what I said
I
about being much better now
I don't
as a
look-
guitar player.
Brian Chu, fine, no tracker. And Kaiwan, so yeah, 2 weeks in, great job.
Yeah, awesome.
Thanks.
You've been working with our own Brian McCune some, right? On bass.
Yes.
Cool, cool. And we were so that was 50% difficulty.
Yes. Thank goodness.
So we can because we can set if you're learning songs through Rocksmith, you can manually set the difficulty if you want to, or let dynamic difficulty kind of gauge where you are and provide you with sufficient challenge. Today we went 50%, which you nailed, and you did 100%,
Which I didn't know
which was fine.
as much.
No, it was great. It was great. We loved it. Yeah. Anything else for? Actually, I think we had
Yeah.
some questions.
Questions?
Yeah.
Sure.
One was so what is UX design, Kaiwan?
So on a daily basis, I get to focus on trying to figure out who our players are, and then understanding what their expectations are, what frustrates them, and then taking that information and trying to make the best game we can with it.
Okay. Thank you very much. And question about technique. This is from Sugar Stalker. As a lefty, how much is playing right-handed guitars holding me back? Now, this seems like a pretty common thing for.
Wait, say that again?
So we have a left-handed guitarist who is
Uh-huh.
playing righty,
Oh, okay.
which doesn't seem uncommon. That
It's
seems like
not very uncommon, yeah. There's a lot of lefties that play right-handed.
what the question is how much is playing righty instead of lefty holding them back? Do you think?
I don't know. Because that would be like me trying to learn how to play left-handed guitar, and I've never really done that. So I've seen plenty of guitar players that can do it really well. So I don't think it's like I think if you just practice that way and you feel comfortable with it, I think being comfortable is probably the biggest thing. If it feels natural to you, then
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing, and you don't have to worry about like, oh, am I doing this right? Should I be playing a lefty guitar? Yeah, it's
know
just
I've-
about if it feels natural.
I've known a couple of left-handed guitar players who play righty, and because they feel like they have their dominant hand is more dexterous, so they want that hand on the fretboard, which makes sense. But whenever I've tried to play lefty, it feels unnatural to me.
To be honest, just guitar is a weird, it just feels really awkward especially when you're first starting out, no matter what denomination of left or right-handed you are. The most important thing is that these two hands always have to be synced together, so it doesn't really matter.
So it's more bringing them together and finding your center, which is today's theme.
Yeah. Well, that's just my opinion.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
So.
And I'm sure if you want to ask around in our forums and social media, some of our other players who are lefty and might play righty or have tried to play righty before might be able to offer different opinions from different experiences. Preferably someone who is left-handed.
Actually, funny story about this. So in the office, a lot of the times does everybody remember Greg Barr? Anyways, Greg Barr was a note tracker that had been here for a long time, and basically to play test music, we wanted to. One of the techniques that we actually use is playing guitar. Actually, I don't know if he's actually a left-handed musician that plays right-handed, but he would play the opposite of
Offhand.
what he was used to.
Yeah.
To simulate being a beginner, and he actually got so good at playing left-handed that he stopped doing it because he was like, "Well, I'm just getting way too good at this now." And
great.
so, like, yeah, you can definitely get comfortable playing either way. It's just
Accidentally
like
learned how to play.
It's just how much you do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both very much for joining us. Hopefully, we'll see you soon, and I know we'll see you soon. Maybe soon-ish. But in case you missed it, there's some other packs that we had that we thought if you like the Five Finger Death Punch, maybe you'll like these as well. We have All That Remains, which came out, when did that come out? 2015, I believe. Yeah, All That Remains came out in May of 2015. That is a 3-song song pack, which includes 6, This Calling, and 2 Weeks. Also Volbeat, which I saw somebody mention in the chat with Five Finger Death Punch reminding them of Volbeat, or vice versa. It was long ago. I don't remember exactly. But called it because Volbeat, we had a song pack from them that came out in July of 2015. That one I think had 5 songs. Yeah, there's a 5-song pack, which has A Warrior's Call, Fallen, Heaven Nor Hell, Lola Montez, and Still Counting. Also, if you like that Killswitch Engage and you haven't played through that, the Killswitch Engage song pack came out in 2014, and that song that we played was The End of Heartache. The song pack also included My Curse and the Killswitch Engage cover of Dio's Holy Diver, which was added. I believe Holy Diver from Dio was added in a song pack only a few weeks after the Killswitch Engage song pack. I just found that out recently. I hadn't really known that. Coming up right now, I guess. You guys want to do it? Oh, I guess we got our tune. Got our tune, so I'm going to talk some more. I'm going to keep talking. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing fine out there in Twitchland. You're watching the Rocksmith weekly dev stream. I'm Douglas Lilly. I'm your community developer for Rocksmith. We are listening. We're playing through the Five Finger Death Punch song pack. We've played 2 of the 3 songs in that song pack. And if you're just joining us, this is our weekly stream where we look at the DLC that we've just released on the previous Tuesday or Wednesday if you're in Europe and on Sony platforms. But right now, with us, we have Jason Kokel and Amy Batista.
Hey there.
Hello.
How's it going?
Great.
And Five Fingers. How many what's
strings
that?
do you
What's
have
going on
there?
here? How many strings is that?
Oh man, I can't play this. What
Wait.
am I doing? This? Oh no, it's a 7-string.
So you're gonna play. So this song is tuned to B standard for guitar,
Yeah.
and you're gonna play a 7-string guitar,
Yep.
which is tuned.
So normally it's tuned like an E standard guitar, but just with an extra string, a low B.
Which would repeat.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
It's basically like it's the high B but 2 octaves lower. So in order for me to be able to read the note track as it was, I'm just not going to play the highest string, and I basically tuned it like the first, the lowest strings, like they were in a B standard.
Okay. So, so how much 7-string guitar do you tend to play?
I have one at home, and I didn't have one until maybe I think it was whenever whatever the year was that we did the Rocksmith live at Slim's. I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I got a 7-string like earlier that year, because I wanted to have one, and I wanted to use it for recording at home, and I didn't want to change the tuning of any of my guitars to play lower. And so I was like, okay, I'll just play it lower, play, and so I bought one there, and then I ended up using it at that show when we played Cliffs of Dover, and I actually did utilize the low B. Yeah, I used all 7. And so I enjoy it. I mean, it's an adjustment if you're not used to it, but probably the confusing part is to get used to that low, like that your lowest string isn't E anymore.
Yeah.
And then for a song like this, where I'm doing it the opposite, I have to get used to, okay, as soon as I see the purple string here, don't play the highest, to play the next,
Right.
so just ignore it,
Right.
So,
Yeah, because I've played, I've used a 5-string bass on Rocksmith, and it's just remembering, for the most part, not to use that top string.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
with this, you're in the opposite situation here.
Yeah. And you just get used to it. Now, when I pick up my 7-string at home, I'll play things that are, that are E-centric or whatever.
Yeah.
And
That's a fun.
but then I was like, okay, now all of a sudden I have that little addition if I want to go lower. So
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's listen to that, and we'll come back and we'll talk some more about that 7-string.
Yeah.
And Emmy is playing bass, and that is tuned to E standard.
Yeah.
This is Wrong Side of Heaven, 5-Finger Death Punch.
I spoke to God today, and she said that she's ashamed.
That part's funny because it like it's like a whole new riff at the end of the song. You get to hear it like once, and then it fades out. It's like, oh man, where's the rest of the cool riff?
Like bonus riff, like
Yeah.
like you think it's gonna start another song. You're like, oh, I like this other song.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we had some people talking about artists who use 7-string
Mm-hmm.
guitar. Now you're using a 7-string for this song that's we have tuned to B, but you mentioned earlier you don't think they used a 7-string guitar to record.
Yeah, I know.
live.
Yeah, I think they used they were in B standard. That's what it sounds like anyway, and it makes sense considering what's going on. Like all those bends and stuff, it feels more comfortable if it was in B standard. And unfortunately, the only video evidence we have of this song, every single clip is they play it acoustic, one guitar and the singer, and that's it. They don't ever play it this way. Never. I looked like just as far back as I could go. Like I've never seen them. So I was like, well, it's probably not a 7-string because all those shapes are just
Right.
they just make sense as
Right.
B standard. So
And I have a question about 7-string playing
yeah.
on guitar. So this is mostly for the rock and metal world. I assume most 6-string players are used to the typical bar chord shapes. When you're using a 7-string guitar, how often does that come up?
Well, I mean, you can do all the same things. So I'll tune it to what it's supposed to be. So so I can still play E. I can play all the same bar chord shapes I want. It's just you just forget about the fact that this low string is there, and then
Right.
you can just play. But the advantage that you have is, well, I mean, aside from the low note, is sometimes you can be in instead of going, down here, you can be in one thing and do more boxy shapes if you want, or just the fact that you have this low string in there.
Cool. Cool.
Yes, but yeah, most for most 7-strings, if you're not doing any alternate tuning, you have all the access to all the same shapes.
Yeah, and as we can see, it detected just fine.
Yeah, great. So if you have
Yeah.
a 7-string at home, all you have to do is alter. But when the tuner comes up, you just don't need to tune, your high E string, and just tune. The G string, which the Rocksmith will think it's the B string, the G. You just tune it what it says, and then you're fine, and then you can play this song on it. And it detects well. It also is like you don't have to worry about setting up a new guitar to play in B standard.
Right.
You can just
So one thing that always sort of concerns me when tuning, so if you're using a 7-string guitar and you wanted to play a song that was in C or C sharp, at what point is it better to tune up on the 7-string or just get a 6-string and tune down?
Yeah, I don't know.
Does that just depend on?
Yeah, I mean, because in a way you have the similar problems that when you uptune a 6-string guitar anyway. I mean, there is a point where you're like, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, if you start tuning every string up, probably beyond. I mean, I'd say I don't know. I mean, it really depends on a lot of things. But at some point, if I have to tune up more than a half step, I'd probably put a capo on.
That makes, yeah.
But then so if you're going with something like this, maybe like again, a half step is probably that's
As
it. But
much
like
as you wanna-
up tuning is just weird anyway. I think from I mean, unless you're doing an open E where you're up tuning 3 strings, but like the whole instrument, I mean, it's
I get very precious about like the strings are one thing, but then I'm always worried about the sort of stability of the neck and the headstock.
Yeah, I'd be too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, like half step, maybe that's. I mean, you could get away with a whole, but it's just at some point,
weird.
it's
Yeah.
it's just
Better
like
to
you're
tune
probably
down.
going to break strings really before you ruin the neck.
Okay.
I would say,
Well,
but
that's good.
don't just So
Find what's comfortable. If you have to push too hard, it's
path of least resistance.
Yeah, that sounds
just
good.
don't even don't
And
push it.
Emmy, you were playing that one on
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. That's not what you told me. Cool.
That's
Well,
what it
you came
went.
through. Oh. All right. Did I forget to. Oh, yeah, that's because I didn't mark it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprise!
So
You
I'm
did
the
great
jerk on that one.
though.
yeah. I'm glad I brought it up.
I had to concentrate hella hard. I was like, oh God.
Yeah, but look how great you did.
Yeah.
And we had some comments on this. So this isn't yours, but you do have.
Yeah, mine
of
actually
these
is
yellow
today in the
bases.
studio, but it's getting
Oh.
Pody's looking at it. 'Cause
It's getting the
has
Pody
a-
treatment.
yeah, it has a weird reverb issue.
Okay.
So.
Okay. But yeah, I think Fadoodling mentioned how much they like the short scale for their small
Yeah,
hands.
it was between this and the Gresh, and then this one sounded much better on the amp.
Okay.
So.
Cool. All right. Was there anything else that we had to say about Five Finger Death Punch? Five Finger Death Punch, 7-string guitars, viola basses.
Wait till we bring out the 12.
Is that? Were we doing that? Okay. I
We
mean, not right
could.
now. We could. We could.
Yeah,
I think
we
we
could
have-
do whatever we want.
I mean, yeah.
We don't even
the
need a
sky
reason.
is the limit. We could bring out a 1-string.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but why? I mean,
But
then
what-
we're back in washboard territory,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which I'm fine with, but
Yeah.
might not make for riveting streaming. So
That'd be
speaking
really
of
cool for a really hard, like, let's say, Dragon.
Dragon
Four
Force. Yeah,
string.
Dragon
one
Force
string.
on
guitar.
the
Yeah.
single string.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do your best.
I have seen. There's I can't remember who they are. Somebody can name it, but somebody makes guitar videos, and I think they did like a metal song, like an almost gent type metal song using Add Note, just with Rob Scallon. Yeah, Rob Scallon. Okay, yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah,
Just-
I've seen that. Yeah.
it's worth a watch. Gent stick. Yeah. Okay, I'm hearing new words. But
New words.
I'm just repeating whatever words are coming through right now, which is dangerous. So
You
we'll
know,
stop.
for that
Yeah.
left-handed thing, a right-hand thing, Audrey was moving
Yes.
over to left,
Yes.
and apparently she's flawless at it.
Yeah,
too.
because she wanted Audrey Shida wanted a new challenge, so she decided to start learning left-handed,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so she got a left-handed guitar and learned lefty.
Yeah.
So
And killed it.
yeah.
And as a point of completeness, when Brian Shu was talking about Greg Barr, Greg Barr is indeed a left-handed person
Okay.
playing.
Okay.
For sure. I remember asking him about that too. I've known a lot of people who do that. Like, it's great, Anthony. Yeah, it's great. I mean,
Okay.
I wish that I did. And you were mentioning like there is that weird dexterous thing that happens. And like
Yeah.
for me, if I play piano, this hand is way more, agile than this. Or if I play bandonion, which is like a squeeze box, I play like this hand is way more agile. But this one, as soon as guitar, fine. And then as soon as I go anywhere like here, it's like it might as well be a big, slab
Yeah.
of meat. Just hitting. I mean, it's okay, but it's not.
And
yeah.
does your when you try playing left-handed, does your string skipping also suffer on when you're
Everything, it
picking-
just
just a big mess.
feels weird. Yeah, it just like my brain looks at it and can mirror image and go, oh yeah, I should be able to do this, but I just I can't very
all
well.
the shapes
yeah,
are
it's just
wrong.
everything it really feels like you're not inside your body
See, I
anymore.
have the opposite because I drum left-handed.
Yeah.
So my setup is a
Oh,
little,
whoa.
is
Yeah.
a little off, and then because on my right hand on the drum set it's sporadic,
Yeah.
so this is the controlled for everything, and
So
then
is your hi hat here? You put
yeah,
oh,
so
that's
every-
cool.
everything
Yeah,
else
I
is
can't-
just like
I have a hard time picturing
does its
that.
own thing, and I was like everything else is on my left.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, thank you both very much
you.
for joining us. We're going to do our final giveaway of this stream. We're going to do one more of the Ernie Ball prize packs. So listen to what UB Jurassic, a.k.a. Yet Another Brian, is saying in the chat for your chance to win 2 sets of strings, one for 6-string guitar, one for 4-string bass, a medium set of 12 Ernie Ball picks, 3 pink Skullboy Rocksmith picks, 1 black Ernie Ball strap, a set of Ernie Ball Wonder Wipes to keep your guitar's neck, body, and strings fresh and clean, and 1 Ernie Ball peg winder to help you get those new strings on. If you win, make sure you let UB Jurassic know he will whisper you, and make sure you send him your name, shipping address, and telephone number. We need all of that information in order to ship that prize to you, and good luck. Next week we are going to have our final weekly stream of the year with a band. Who knows who it could be? If you want a chance to get an early clue at who that band could possibly be, check out the forums tomorrow morning. we are going to post a puzzle as we usually do this time, designed by our own Dan Amrick. So look forward to that. We're giving Rolling Stone 222 the weekend off for this puzzle. And then next week, we're going to have our final stream of the year. Going to take a couple weeks off for both DLC and streams. And then we're going to come back, new DLC on the 8th of January and a new stream on the 10th. Again, thank you for joining us. And if you didn't watch it, go back, check out our holiday stream. It's 2.5 hours of musical goodness and fun. Once again, I'm Doug Lilly, your Rocksmith community developer. Make sure you follow us on social media. We've got Facebook, Rocksmith, and Twitter, Instagram at Rocksmith Game. We will see you in a week. Bye.
Bad company, I can't deny. Bad company, today I die. Until the